I am Zane, a relationship consultant and psychologist, and what I want to talk about today is something many people carry quietly. It hides in places that do not often get discussed, behind good grades, behind polite smiles, behind the story of a family that had no real problems. But just because there was no chaos does not mean there was connection. And for many, that quiet lack becomes the loudest part of their adult relationships. Let's dive in deeply. Number 1. When nothing happens, the invisible hurt sometimes. The hurt does not come from what happened. It comes from what never did. No slamming doors, no raised voices, just a quiet, persistent emptiness. A parent who showed up every day but did not really see you. Who made sure you were fed, clothed, and safe, but never asked what you were feeling. Who loved you in the way they knew how, but left you emotionally starving. You began to sense early on that your emotions lived in a space too inconvenient for them. So you learned to edit yourself, to smile instead of speak, to cope instead of connect. And that coping, while necessary, then becomes a barrier now. Number 2, the normal that was not safe. If emotional neglect is invisible in the moment, it wears the costume of normalcy. From the outside, everything looks fine. And that is what makes it so hard to name, because there was no event to point to, no clear wound, just this slow erosion of self. As a child, you begin to learn that your feelings do not matter, or worse, that they are too much. So you tuck them away. You become low maintenance. It's easy to raise and deeply alone. You might have been praised for your independence, but inside there was a quiet desperation, a longing to be asked about your sadness, a hope that someone would notice your silence and choose to lean in, not look away. Number 3, attachment shaped by absence. And then you grow up. You enter relationships thinking love means silence, that closeness requires shrinking, that your needs are dangerous, that they push people away. You might pick partners who mirror the same emotional distance. You become the overgiver, always attuned to others, but never to yourself. This is not random. This is attachment shaped by absence. You find yourself in cycles that feel strangely familiar, where your emotional needs go unanswered, and yet you stay. Not because it feels good, but because it feels known. That familiarity has a gravity, and it pulls you even when you want to walk away. Number 4, legacy of emotional inheritance. It's the hardest part is that many of these parents were doing their best. They were not cruel. They did not mean harm. Often they were carrying their own emotional neglect wounds, passed down like a family recipe no one wanted. That does not excuse the pain, but it helps explain why it is so confusing. Why you can love someone and still carry an ache that never had language. And why sometimes the most damaging legacies come not from overt harm, but from emotional absence, passed off as normal love. When a parent cannot model how to hold space for emotions, the child grows up thinking those emotions are excess baggage. Number 5, relearning emotional safety. Healing starts with giving yourself what you never received. Recognizing that your feelings are not a burden, that you are not too much, that your emotional world deserves attention, care, and space. It is not about blaming, it is about naming, because only then can you begin to choose differently. To form connections that reflect who you are, now not just who you had to be to survive. It means relearning how to feel safe in vulnerability. It means giving yourself permission to be fully seen, even when that feels unfamiliar or risky. It is not fast work, but it is sacred work. Did this resonate with you? What have you noticed about how your past shows up in your present? Share in the comments. In the next episode, we will talk about digital love, signs of a healthy online relationship. And if this spoke to something real in you, consider subscribing to STR TV for more emotionally honest conversations and grounded insights.